This call is now being recorded.
See, the point number 2 is time division multiple access. The procedure is same as that of your frequency division. In the frequency division, what we are doing, you have to divide the frequency to the individual users. Okay. Instead of that, that is time division multiple access is introduced. The time has to be allocated to the individual users. This is a digital technique we have started. The FDMA is of analog technique and TDMA is conversion of analog to the digital. The frequency, the single radio frequency has to be allocated with a different time slots, with a different time slot. That is what time division multiple access. The each cell or each channel has to be divided into number of slots. The each channel has to be divided into the number of slots based on the time slots that channel has to be going to allocate. In the point he has mentioned, that is a time division, that is TDMA is time division multiple access. The time division multiple access is a digital transmission techniques. TDMA is a digital transmission technique. FDMA is an analog transmission technique. The technology has been changed from 1G to 2G, that is from analog to digital. In that second generation, again there are sub generations are there, that is from 2G to 2.5G, 2.75G. In second generation, there are again sub generations has been mentioned, that is what? That is 2.5G and 2.75G. The 2.5G is nothing but your GPRS. GPRS, that is General Packet Radio Service. The GPRS stands for General Packet Radio Service, that is for 2.5G. And 2.75G is of edge, EDGE. 2.75G is of edge, that is of EDGE, enhanced data rate for radio services. That is enhanced data rate for GSM evolution. Edge, EDGE stands for what? Enhanced data rate for GSM evolution. That is whole 2G, that is 2.5G, and 2.75G is of overall second generation. That second generation is called as what? GSM, that is Global System for Mobile. So TDM is a digital transmission technique. So this digital transmission technique can be used for a single radio frequency, can be allocated to the individual users for reducing the interference. For reducing the interference by allocating unique time slots. By allocating unique time slot. There, what we are doing in FDMA, we are allocating the unique frequency band. In this, we are using unique time slots. So TDMA is divided into cellular channels or 3 time slots in order to increase the amount of data can be carried out. Here is the diagram you are seeing. So individual time slot, that is 1, 2, 3. The graph is with respect to the frequency versus time. Frequency versus time. It has to be divided in a with respect to the time. That is 1, 2, 3. Again the time slot has to be repeated. How we are using the frequency reuse concept. So we are using the frequency reuse concept. That frequency reuse concept can be used in this time division multiple access. Okay. The same frequency has to be used but multiple times. For multiple times, we are going to use multiple time slots. So 1, 2, 3. He has mentioned the different colors in this. 1, 2, and 3. Again, the same color has been mentioned for 1, 2, 3. So this is what the different time slots has to be allocated for individual users. For that, more and more subscribers can be access the particular network. Okay, that has to be used. This TDMA technique can be used in advanced cellular techniques. This technique has to be used in advanced cellular technique. So this TDMA techniques is to be divided into milliseconds. If the TDMA technique has to be divided in milliseconds, so that time slots has to be used in a number of packets. Bunch, packet is nothing but a bunch. That bunch is allocated to the many number of users. So TDMA can be used for a multiple techniques. How the synchronization has to be taken place in time division multiple access? Time is nothing but what? The clock. Time is nothing but what? The clock. The clock is required for TDMA. Time is required what? Time is what? The clock. The clock is always required for a TDMA techniques. When the signal has to transmit, when the signal has to receive, that has to be known by the transmitter and receivers. When the signal has to transmit, when the signal has to receive, that information, that timing information has to be known by the transmitter and the receivers. Okay, that has to be written here. That is second point. The transmitter and receivers must aware of this clock. Means what? Whenever you want to make a call, that time slot has to be mentioned in your mobile. You see the call history. When you see the call history of that, you came to know that at what time I called to the particular person. That call history must be known, that this clock, that is TDMA. TDMA is nothing but what? The particular time slot has to be monitored. That is to be registered in a particular transmitter and a receiver. That is required in this TDMA technique. And what is that? When you see the particular call history in your mobile, it is showing that you have communication with that person for this much amount of time, for 20 minutes, for 15 minutes, for 25 minutes, for 30 minutes. Everything has to be registered. Everything has to be monitored in that TDMA technique. Means what? You have to monitor, you have to register the previous time slot, that is starting of the call and ending of the call. That has to be registered in this TDMA. He has written in the same point in the third point. In a cellular telephone system, a clock signal indicates the beginning of a time slots. The beginning when the call has been going to start by the transmitter, by the base station. That has to be monitored by the base station. That base station has to be sent particular information to the MSC, that is mobile switching center. Okay, all the mobile stations has to be came up that you have started the call at this time, you have ended the call at this time. That has to be seen in your mobile also. Okay, that has to be synchronization. Synchronization is nothing but what? One has to know other. That is, the transmitter has to know receiver, receivers to know the transmitter. That is what synchronization should be required. In TDMA, why is mentioned that the particular time slot or the particular clock has to be mentioned in that particular information. That is, synchronization is required between the transmitter and the receiver. And whatever we have seen in the FDMA technique, the features of FDMA, the same features and the same procedure we are following for TDMA also. What is the main features of TDMA? The single carrier frequency with multiple users. See the changes between the FDMA and TDMA. There we are going to divide the frequencies. There we are going to divide the frequencies to the individual users. But in TDMA, we are allocating the same single carrier frequency to the multiple users. But what is the changes in this? We are going to allocate a different time slot. But a single carrier frequency. Come to the second point. FDMA is continuous transmission. Why? Because continuous, it is a sinusoidal signals. It is a waveform is there. that is the analog signal. This is a continuous transmission. But a TDMA is a non-continuous transmission. Why? Because we are using a bits, zeros and ones. We are using a bits here, that is zeros and ones. So it is non-continuous transmission. There may be a break in between, and it becomes, once it becomes 0, once it becomes 1, once it becomes 0, once it becomes 1. After that bits, it becomes a byte. It becomes a byte. That byte is called as a particular code. Particular code it becomes. So that code is has to be allocated to the particular user. Okay, 01011, 01001. That is a particular code has to be mentioned to the particular user. So it is a non-continuous transmission. It is not a continuous transmission. If there is a continuous transmission, the battery consumption will be high. If I am talking about FDMA, if there is a continuous transmission, the battery consumption will be high. If there is a non-continuous transmission, the consumption of the battery will be low. For example, you are continuously speaking for 2 to 3 hours. If you are using your mobile for continuously for 4 to 5 hours, your power, your charge will get down. Why? Because you are using the mobile for continuously. Means what? You are attending the lectures for every day 5 hours. Every day 5 hours. That battery consumptions will become low. You are not getting any break in between. In between the break, you are going to get a charge. So that is what? If there is a non-continuous transmission, there is a low power consumption, low battery consumption is required. When it is not in use, you will be turned off. When the mobile is not in use, you can turn off your mobile. Okay, that is what main feature of this TDMA. A particular time slot has to be assigned on a demand in a dynamic. It is not a fixed. Okay, it is not a fixed. It is a dynamic, variable. Variable. Dynamic is nothing but what? Variable. Different time slot has to be assigned for a different users who is going to request the service. Who is going to request the service in a variable manner. If you want to call at 11:30, a particular time slot has to be allocated. Other person is going to call for 11:31, 32, 11:33, 11:35. These are some of the time slots. Based on his work, he is going to make a call. That is what different time slot has to be allocated. But a single frequency, but a single carrier frequency has to be allocated. That is a function of time division multiple access. And again, some of the functions are there. The TDMA uses different time slot for transmitter and receiver. The deflects are not required. Well, here he has mentioned the duplexers. Duplexer is to use for a transmitter and receiver in FDMA. The duplexer block is not required for a transmitter and receiver blocks because what? He is using a different type slots for a individual users. He is using different type slots for a individual users. So the duplexer block is not required for a TDMA technique. I already told you GSM technique, that is global system for mobile. This is one unit is there, that is the next unit. Global GSM technique can be used in TDMA technique. GSM technique can be used in TDMA technique. How the GSM will become? The combination of 2G, the combination of 2.5G, the combination of 2.75G, all this will become a GSM. 2G, 2.5G and 2.75G. In 2.5G, we are using a GPRS. 2.75G, we are using edge technique. So global system for mobile communication, that is GSM, uses a TDMA technique. One example he has mentioned here, how the calling has to be taken place. He has mentioned different colors here. He is going to mention a different colors. he has mentioned at the input side the two users, at the output again the two user. The one user is going to call for that person, the second user is going to call for another person. See, he has given two waveforms. He has mentioned two waveforms. One, that analog signal has to be converted to the digital signal. When it is reached to the particular signal reaching at the receiver, it becomes again that particular signal. Okay. User 1, there is a red, and user 2, that is a green. Okay. That is, the particular signal has to be reached. User 2, user 1. User 1, again it is starting, and particular to whom you have to call, that signal has to be reached to the particular that person. Based on this time division multiple access, based on this particular code has to be assigned. Okay. The common frequency channel, the single frequency channel will be allocated for almost all the users. Once it is going to reach at a particular destination, it is going to reach at a particular receiver, it is being divided. It has been divided, and that signal has to be reached to the particular user. That is the main features of this time division multiple access. What are the advantages of this time division multiple access? What are the advantages? TDMA, the data rates. How much is the speed? The data rate is 64 kbps to 120 mbps. The speed of the data rate is, the speed is very less in second generation. The speed is very less, that the speed of that particular second generation, that is for a TDMA, is 64 kbps to 120 mbps. It provides the user with extended battery life on talk time. If you want to use for a longer battery life, you can use for this particular less speed. It is the most cost effective technique to convert an analog system to the digital. Okay, whatever the digital technique we are using, this is the first digital techniques has to be implemented for the conversion of analog to digital, that is from first generation to second generation. The speed is less, so we are not going to make any video calls. You can't see any videos, you can't see any movies for this, the low speed. Okay, and what is the main important advantage is that the TDMA technology separates user according to the time. It ensures that there will be no interference. The interference will occur, but only 0.1% or mostly 1% of the interference. Why? Because the particular time slot has to be allocated for the individual users in the TDMA technique, so interference will be less. Using this TDMA techniques, what are the services it is going to provide? What are the services in the previously? Nowadays it is also going on. We are doing the fax. One person is sitting at his office. He has to send any information. If he wants to send any fax to the other faxing office, that has to be used for a fax. That information has to be reached to the particular other end of the office. That is fax. That is voice band data. SMSs you have to send. Okay, that is multimedia. Video conferencing, it has not done that much. It is as the speed is very less, that is technology is not supporting for a video conferencing. These are the particular advantages has to be taken place in time division multiple access. Time division multiple access is nothing but we have to divide the particular time to the individual users by allocating single carrier frequency. By allocating single carrier frequency. These are the advantages of this TDMA. What are the disadvantages? The main disadvantage is what? Multipath interference. You already studied this point in unit number 2. What is multipath? A number of signals has to be coming from many of the base stations. These signals are going to interfere with each other at the receiver side, it is going to create interference. Means what? Each user is allocating a different time slot. If we want to use any of the time slot at some time, at some percentage, that will get, the signal will get interference. So each user has a predefined time slots. Each user has a predefined time slot when moving from one cell to other. If a user is on the changing the location, he is on the moving, he is driving any of the vehicles. So if all the time slot in the cell are full, the user might be disconnected. What is that? We are using this, if the channel is not available in a particular cell, that call has to be disconnected. If the time slot is not available in a particular cell, that call has to be disconnected. And one more disadvantage is what? A signal coming from a tower to a handset might come from any one of the several directions. So we can't see that. We can't see that particular signal, where it is going, how it is going to reach, how the signal has to be coming. That as we can't see that. So due to some of the weather conditions, due to some of the disturbance in the signal, due to interfering with the two or more signals, the signal may get lost. It will just bounce off several different buildings. It is going to hit particular, the buildings of height of the buildings are very high, so it is going to hit a particular building, the signal will get lost. So these are some of the disadvantages comes under this TDMA. Okay, point number 2 is what we have seen. The point number 1 is frequency division multiple access, and point number 2 is time division multiple access. Okay, what is the difference between FDMA and TDMA? In FDMA, you have to divide a frequency band. TDMA, you have to divide the time. And point number 3 is SSMA, spread spectrum multiple access. SSMA is spread spectrum multiple access. What is spread spectrum? The frequency of a particular has to be increased. The frequency of a particular signal has to be increased. That is what spreading of spectrum for accessing any of the network. In SSMA technique, we are using two techniques in this. One is frequency hopped multiple access. Second is direct sequence multiple access. Don't be confused for this. Direct sequence multiple access is also called as a code division multiple access, CDMA. You already heard this name, that is CDMA. The CDMA is also called as a direct sequence multiple access, that is DSMA. DSMA is also called as a code division multiple access. If you want, you can write it. Direct sequence multiple access, that is DSMA, is also called as code division multiple access, or code division multiple access is also called as direct sequence multiple access. In the spread spectrum multiple access, we are using the two techniques. One is frequency hopped multiple access, that is FHMA, and second is direct sequence multiple access, that is CDMA. This DSMA is also called as a code division multiple access. We'll see one by one. The first technique in SSMA is frequency hopping. There is frequency hopped multiple access. This is already a digital technique, digital multiple access. We started using a wideband channel, wideband radio channels, and the wideband channel is nothing but wide spectrum, wideband spectrum. If you are using the wideband spectrum, we have started using some of the codes, that is pseudo-random code. Carrier frequency of the user are varied in pseudo-random. The particular signal has to be allocated, the particular code has to be allocated using the two waves that is in a random, that is a pseudo random. Each user is using a narrowband channel spectrum at a specific instant of time. Using a wideband spectrum, whenever the allocating for a particular channel, that is narrowband. Where using the wideband spectrum, allocating a channel should be narrowband. Okay, the random change in frequency make the change of using the same narrowband channel, it becomes very low. Whenever you are assigning the random, that is a narrowband channel, whenever you are assigning the particular narrowband channel, the frequency has to be changed particularly. There is a random change in the frequency. The random change in the frequency has to be taken place in this frequency hopping. Hope is nothing but change in the particular frequency. Change in the frequency that has to be taken place in frequency hopping. Multiple, it is a digital multiple technique. It is using wideband radio channel. Same wideband spectrum has to be allocated for all the users, but we are using the pseudo random fashion. Whenever the carrier has to be taken place, when the signal has to be carried, the different frequency has to be allocated. Pseudo random frequency band has to be allocated in a pseudo random, that is different frequencies has to be allocated. That is what frequency hopping. And the sender receiver change the frequency, that is calling hopping, using the same random frequency, and they are synchronized. There is a synchronization between, there will be a synchronization between the transmitter and the receiver. There will be a synchronization between transmitter and receiver. If there is a synchronization between the transmitter and receiver, that has to be taken place in frequency hopping. There are mainly two types of frequency hopping. One is fast frequency hopping and slow frequency hopping. Fast frequency hopping and slow frequency hopping. What is fast frequency hopping? Fast frequency hopping is nothing but if hopping rate is greater than the signal. If the hopping rate is greater than the signal, that is called as fast frequency hopping. That is one bit transmitted in multiple hops. What is slow frequency? The slow frequency hopping is nothing but if the symbol rate is greater. If a symbol rate is greater than the accessing rate, that has to be taken place in slow frequency hopping. Same, one bit has to be transmitted in this fast frequency hopping and multiple bits has to be taken place in slow frequency hopping. The example for this slow frequency hopping is, that is GSM and Bluetooth. Example for this slow frequency hopping is global system for mobile, that is GSM and Bluetooth. Okay. Wait for 10 minutes because the sir is